At Emerald Broadband, we bring you the most reliable internet on the planet, fiber. The question is, why is fiber more reliable than cable? Picture two houses. The cable house has an old foundation, faulty wiring, and uses cheaper materials. It's built to cut corners, not built to last. The fiber house has a solid foundation, unwavering power, and uses premium materials, so your house is built for the future. For the most reliable coverage, don't get caught in the storm. Get fiber with Emerald Broadband.
story is becoming a nightmare.
Oh, that definitely counts as over it then. And, good evening. Welcome to tonight's verified and glorified insanity that is back in Nox Vitalia.
Yeah.
So, before we go any further, standardized announcements.
Thank you again to Rip Reptiles for the continued provision of paper, printer ink, and all of the necessary effectuations of printing stuff.
Yes, very much thank you. To anybody who is frequently watching, there is a poll out there for any of the systems that you would like to see us run games in as a one-shot. Other than that, technically, thank you again to Thomas for the snackers and such, because it's still stuff that's been here. Just because I'm not really big on sweets. But, so, beyond that,
We shall leave the labels
and I
on
need
when
my
they pay
dice
us.
tray. This one. This one is mine.
Man.
Well, it has my toys in it, so.
Very tickly.
Take the black one in front of you. That's cool.
Yep. You can't have a book in it. Alright, so. When last we left off, everyone had gone to bed. Now, in order to save me having to have needed to rewatch everything this week, like I normally do, that's actually part of what I normally spend my Saturday evenings with. I'd like I'm gonna just go around the room. We're just gonna start with Nyan, go around to the three of you. I'll get to what's going on with Wisp momentarily. And I want to hear what you remember for your character last session here, because that'll kind of drive where we're going from
Okay,
here.
so in character memory or note-taker player memory?
Note-taker player memory is if you were recapping your character's experience.
Alright. Last episode, Kelora followed members of the troop a bit while looking for the Temple of Thanatos. Did not pay a whole lot of attention to them because had other mission, but was like, okay, gonna watch over these guys for a second. Having gotten to the Temple of Ishtar, she got a room, was toured down through the lower levels where more aggressive vices took place, came upstairs and went to the Temple of Thanatos, where it was revealed that mostly the thing to blame for the death of everyone in her entire life was bad luck.
Which I still think is.
Whereas at that point, she immediately went home and to her hotel room and convalesced for the evening.
Yeah, and that would bring us to you, Ren. What do you remember for your character last session,
I remember I was trying to sell some provisions and was charmed and taken to that temple. And then I remember fighting with Wisp over something.
Classic Wisp.
That's really about it. My memory has been fuzzy the last couple of weeks. I think I've been in this temple too long and partying too much.
I could refresh your memory as to what happened to you and what you fought over, but this is for your character.
Yep. That just says that Ronan was messed up enough that night that he did not remember.
Yup.
I highly recommend taking notes if you want to prevent this from happening on a regular.
I usually watch the episodes, rewatch them the Saturday before too, but I was busy yesterday.
Fair enough. Alright, Thomas, what do you remember for your character?
So I was following down, trying to find information. Ended up in a temple. Made a couple choices, and now I have to sweet talk everybody into coming back for, I don't know, the arrangement I made. See how that goes. That still doesn't make me feel like I'm happy about the situation. It's a big decision. Fucking left every time.
Check that.
See, you made a choice, and choices have repercussions. Could be positive, could be negative. I'll never tell.
I've played D&D for 10 years. I'm gonna get a worried
know.
and hilarious
Still,
laugh when people...
I made a decision, and you're laughing hysterically. It's like, shit, there's no takes backsies. Like no chess. I didn't let go of the piece yet. I can still move it.
Oh, it's a different week. Well, I guess I'll let go of the piece.
Maybe.
Alright. So,
Then I went back to. Yeah, I went back to bed.
the following morning, you'd assume morning, this is far enough down that the first, 3 hours of daylight do not get into the pit far enough.
Oh,
Yep.
so you've been in the club too long and don't know whether they are outside.
Yeah. Well, you're staying at the club, so. You all would you would be woke up by rather friendly attendants coming in, making sure that you're bathed or have hot bath water if you wanted, getting things together, getting yourselves cleaned up. And as you step out into the main, into what would be the main feasting hall, as it were.
Yep.
You've
Where's
come to
Joe?
yeah.
No. You're gonna make the situation worse.
Yes. So, as you step out, there's a lavish breakfast feast. Different kinds of cakes and sweetbreads, fried eggs, fry breads, sweet rolls, fruits, honeys in different colors and hues, some of them scented with citrus and some with berries. And as you all sit down to eat, you notice that Wisp is nowhere to be found.
Has anybody seen him this morning?
Who are you asking?
It's a group question.
No.
No. Figure the cat will take care of himself.
He's good at that.
Though if I had my guess, he's anywhere but wherever Ronan is.
You need to talk to him.
Because you two just can't seem to get along lately.
You know, I was looking for him. I need to talk to him about something. If anybody sees him, let me know.
Actually, that played perfectly into it, right down to this. So, yeah, is anybody going to inquire around, or are you just going to go about your breakfast?
Should I
Okay.
wait step around? Or near? Or do the...
There are roughly 143 miscellaneous acolytes of Ishtar serving any patron who sits to breakfast. If they're done eating, they get up and serve. The girls who are up and serving tend to sit down and eat. Those who have both eaten and been serving for at least one cycle, well, they go off to do other things of their own pleasures and advices.
No, it's like grab a waitress from one of them. It's like, hey, have you seen dude and describe Wisp? I'm like, see this guy around?
Tabaxi fellow, all dark with no tail, right?
Yeah.
I think he was here early? Real early. walking a little. He seemed a little bit out of it, like. And
Sleepwalking?
no, he was able to talk. He asked us we asked him if he wanted breakfast. It was a bit early yet. I mean, real early, like 5, maybe 5:30 in the morning at the latest.
Yeah, we're just starting to make breakfast.
Yeah. Normally everybody's asleep until 8. We've got plenty of time after all that fucking and party.
Thomas, could you throw that mechanical pencil at me?
No, it's
And
Oh, never mind.
no, he said he had something that he really needed to do. His eyes had a bit of a flash and he was carrying that weird sword of his.
Maybe we can check his room, see if he left anything behind that would let us know.
And that's did he leave, or is he still wandering around the building? Did anyone see him leave?
Oh, he left. Went out the doors grabbed himself something really quick to eat. A couple hard-boiled eggs and some dried meat. Walked out the door.
Did you see him eat?
Oh, no.
Alright.
As to what is going on with your character, Pudgy, we will talk. It's nothing bad, I promise.
I'm like, damn it. I need that. Well, I thought we were all. I found somebody that might have a lead on some of the people we're looking for. We need to go meet. I was hoping to talk to y'all once about it.
It's all you.
Oh, okay.
Talk to him. They're at the breakfast table with you.
I was wandering around yesterday and I was checked out a couple of temples, and the last one I was in, the one I was in, said we all had to be there to meet them and they would give us a lead. So I was trying to get everybody. I was just hoping to talk to everybody so we could all go at once instead of having to go track down with.
Can I insight check at advantage because I saw him come out of the specific temple he came out of?
Remind me which one?
Temple of Tiamat.
Oh, yeah.
Can I insight check at advantage because I know which temple he came out of?
Sure.
No taker's privileges. That would be a straight 19.
So, are you trying to deceive or are you being honest?
I'm honest to a point at this point. Like, I haven't lied. Just
Okay,
stated
go
some
ahead
facts.
and,
Yes, you did.
alright. I need you to roll deception.
What is that?
You can't lie to the note
It's on the
taker.
skill list. It does say deception.
I do not beat her. Yeah, 11.
11? 12? Yeah. So, there's definitely a good bit of truth here, but there's some things that are missing. You have a feeling. You're not sure what.
Kelora is immediately like feathers puff and face is just sheer paranoia.
Like,
This bird don't trust you.
this bird is now looking at you. You see puffed up bald eagle across the table. You see this probably right next to you.
Well, before we get into all that, I say we at least check with room to see if he left us a note or anything.
Yeah, we need to find him because we need him to come with us.
So, are you guys heading there, or anything else you're doing at the breakfast table? Is the conversation about going to the temple going to be continued?
I'm gonna need a whole lot better reason than somebody I bumped into says we all, the whole party, need to go into the Temple of Tiamat.
That's what that
When
was?
we're
That's what it was?
chasing-
I didn't know that.
When we're chasing a dragon. A chromatic dragon.
I saw dragons. I thought it would help. Like, they might know something. Honestly, that's why I did go in there. I'm not lying. I did honestly go in there.
No, that's honest.
No, I figured that's probably why you went in there. But it ain't why you're trying to get every last one of us in there.
I made a deal, and that was part of their part.
What kind of deal?
Well, that they agreed that if we all came, they would talk to us. I said I agreed to that.
Now, I bet you they'll talk to us right onto an offering plate.
Not all like that. No, we've done that for 1,000 years.
The chromatics are, and Tiamat is their mother.
That's what they told me. I am playing a little stupid.
I have seen you in battle. I have seen you in several situations. You are not anywhere near stupid enough to have fallen for that or think I would. I'm the dumbest bird anybody here has ever met. And I'm smart enough to know better.
I might be a little rusty. I did spend the last,
Insight. I need you to go ahead and roll an insight check
Me?
for the opportunity to be a smartass.
I got an 18.
Plus.
Mm. 19. It's 19.
Okay. So on a 19, you would know the following thing.
Oh, that's probably fucking.
If you want to be a smartass, that is your opportunity that you can be.
Oh.
Because they did say that they are the dumbest bird that anybody in the entire party has ever seen.
So you hear?
Yeah, but there was. You have to repeat that.
No, but I'm
Pigeon.
Oh, pigeon back a ship. That bird might have been a little dumber.
He actually says this to you. No, there was a pigeon that kept flying into the back of the airship.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm dumber than that pigeon because I stick with you lot.
I think you're fair. I got stuck with you guys because you saved my ass. With spit.
You didn't have to hang out.
Yeah, but
I mean, let's be clear.
That's
Nobody
an
in this
honor
party
and all that.
actually likes each other.
I kind of like Liz.
Yeah, we all
He did
kind
save
of
my
like
life,
well,
Liz. He
kind
did-
of
he did- he
maybe
did, like,
sometimes
save my life.
like each other, but nobody in this party actually likes each other. We're tolerating each other because we're all going through the same terrible bullshit.
Yeah. I mean,
And we seem to be the most qualified people to take care of it.
that one I will say is questionable sometimes.
Agreed!
As they're going back and forth, you just see Ronnie kick his feet up, pull his cloak over his eyes, and start to take a nap. Like, fuck.
And there
off.
goes this one sleeping again.
Well, if y'all would quit bickering like children, I wouldn't need to sleep to get away from your.
Do you know how much critical shit you've missed because your ass couldn't resist a nap?
I do my job.
No, you don't. I mean, you do when you're conscious.
I'm still here, aren't I? So obviously I do my job well enough.
If it weren't for us, you'd be in the bottom of this place hanging out with a succubi.
I mean, is there nothing wrong with that though?
Right? Don't threaten me with a good time.
She did.
And I would be having that good time. Y'all cock block me.
You'd have been mad about it had we not saved your ass. Trust me, the end of a good time with a succubi is never a good time.
But I came first.
She enjoys it.
And that's her prerogative. Now, we can go look for Wisp. But I want to know every detail of the deal you made with any servant of Tiamat before you think I'm even shivering one fucking tail feather through the gates of that temple.
I would actually put my feet up.
Was it
I'm not
real?
going to disrespect the furniture like that.
Appreciate it. Get asked for wings then.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I should not be right now. Okay. Huh. What was I asking? Just the wings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's all you asked for.
Yeah, I was just really double checking that in my head. It was skirt around there.
Need you to go ahead and roll d20, add your deception bonus, and don't tell anybody what the number is. Other than me.
Chris, I got the keys.
Depending on how well you formulate this, I might let you roll again and take the higher of the two numbers. Okay?
Mhm.
So, be persuasive. Word this very carefully. This moment of thought brought to you by Sadistic DMs Everywhere. That's right, Sadistic DMs Everywhere, making D&D night wonderful since the dawn of the game. What would you do for an advantage roll? How
Keep
convincing
doing it.
can you be?
I only ask for advantage when I've taken rigorous notes.
I mean,
You can talk your way into advantage on deception.
Uh-huh.
And you're not allowed to use out of character knowledge for a roll, so.
Oh yeah, no. If this is persuasive enough, I will take a failing to an advantage deception roll. But right now, Kelora's hackles are up.
The good news is that Kelora was not in the room with you, and their insight will technically be at a disadvantage at this point, depending on how high you get.
Yeah.
So you hold off on your roll. You're actively getting an insight for these because you're interrogating.
And I want
So go
every
ahead
detail.
and let's hear this. Meanwhile, Ronan, you would know that this is the Temple of Tiamat that they're discussing. She is the mother of chromatic dragons. She is quite evil. Lawful evil, but evil.
I really should have asked before I did more.
That's why I find all this humor and I'm just watching because either way, they do have the information we need, but it's at a big risk. So they're both technically correct.
Well, it's lawful evil, so it's contract. If it's under contract, then to the letter of the contract.
that's what I'm saying. They both have a point.
It's like fucking wishing with a genie. You should be very specific and wish you'd done it right the first time. I had the whole thing about like.
Well, you didn't do it completely wrong.
I did ask for information and other things. I asked for information, and there
What
might have
information?
been, and I might have asked for help to beat this lady because she tried to eat us, and some help with that would be nice. And
You want to attack our hostess?
No, not that one. The
lady tried to eat us. When we had the little powwow and sat down at the table, she was like, "I could eat you guys now, or I could wait." And I'm like, "I don't want to get eaten at all."
the white woman.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I'm like,
What information did you ask for?
location and You know, if there was anything we could do to beat her or anything.
No, I don't know. I wasn't in the room.
I didn't like alphabetize it like hey, point by point, but I did ask that we would, you know, locate, and if you know there was a way to beat her, or we just had to, you know, go hide under a rock and hopefully she eats the rock and not us. Like, you know, when it was impulsive, I didn't think it through. 100%.
Okay, what were you asked for in return?
Us all to come back as once, and she would give us the answers.
Give us the answers or give you the answers?
Us as a collective group, but we all need to know this. But like, you know, like if I know it all, and then like I die, then we're all screwed. So we all know it together. You know, the last man standing knows everything because they all heard it at the same time.
Or we're a sacrificial offering for you to be able to get your info.
No, I don't want any of you guys to die. Why would I do that? You guys saved my life with your his friends, and he said to save my life in that dungeon. Then he got a bunch of STDs, but
From the sewage.
he still saved my life. So.
And then he got a bunch of STDs.
I have watched.
Alright. So,
I'd like to see a priestess before we leave.
Is that a question for you or me?
actually, you can go ahead and roll an advantage on that one. So, 2d20, take the highest,
Plus what?
plus your deception.
And a
Go ahead and roll your.
disadvantage?
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that the fuck alone because it's a flat 15.
Shit. I got a 14.
You can come look.
No.
Well, you rolled a 1 and a 14.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your deception
Plus
on top
your
of it?
plus your deception bonus.
Is that a +2?
32. No, plus 2.
So that's
16.
16.
You beat me by just 1 point.
So, as far as you're concerned, that's pretty much all the deals. Is he was brokering it in such a manner that all of you would have the information, and we're on an equal footing. And if one person died, it would end the mission.
Or the and then I just tag along to that.
I
Like,
still
wasn't it-
want to see a priestess.
Okay. So,
Or a seller of scrolls.
in this place,
kind of scrolls.
so where are you heading to look for this? Because you're still in the main feasting area.
Well, I'm in a temple district. I am going to go up to the top of the rings and look for a small marketplace in this particular district.
There's, well, when you get more out towards where the main thoroughfare was coming in, there are market stalls and things of that nature up through it. What are the two of you doing as Kelora gets up and starts going for the door?
I gotta find Wes. I'm gonna go check his room.
I was gonna go to Wisp room and look for any evidence.
So, as Kelora goes and heads off towards the market district, the two of you go and check Wisp's room. When you get there, his bedroll and like spare change of clothes are there. It looks like the majority of his bulk weight of items is gone. Like he lightened his load and left it in the room paid for.
Oh, okay, you paid for him just like a.
Yeah, he's storage, yeah.
Okay.
There's no sign of any struggle or anything like that. No note. The door was unlocked.
That was odd. Well, it looks like he took off. And all the stuff he left here is, no, I mean, what, I guess he didn't need it.
one of the strangest things that you see is like sitting on a shelf, there's a little jar vial full of a blue, viscous, kind of slimy looking, glowing, almost transparent liquid.
I was there when it was collected.
Yeah, but nobody knows what it is yet.
Do I, like, so I noticed, I clearly noticed this.
It's a relatively dark room. Like, there's no candles or anything. The fire's burnt itself out, and it's kind of glowing over in a dark corner.
I'm gonna go like,
It's one of the few 5 or 6 things that actually are luminescent, apparently, that he had in his bag.
Isn't among the things that were collected when we commit war crimes?
Nope.
Okay, then I don't have any idea what it is.
I'm gonna
No,
go-
he fed that to the prisoner. That was his war crime.
I'll roll an investigation just to see if I might know what it is.
Sure, investigation. Okay.
I'm missing. Go pick it up.
13.
Alright, so at a 13, you're not really sure. I mean, you walk over, and between the two of you, you pass it back and forth doing one of these. And what do you think? What do you think? At a 13, you're welcome to roll as well on investigation.
Ooh, I got 20.
So, still at a 13, it's interesting. You're not sure. It kind of looks opalescent and gets these weird swirling patterns where the blue seems to get brighter and darker dependent throughout it. Now, you said 23, right? So at a 20, and now as you're passing it back and forth and these things are pointed out, you notice that you see what looks like a tiny little micro scale and what almost looks like a hair floating in it. And some other bits of stuff, and every now and then you catch what looks like a hardened piece of material in it. You'd almost swear that it looks like some sort of huge glowing booger in a jar.
Put it in my pocket.
That's your choice. I wouldn't mess with wisp stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, now you wouldn't. No.
So- I'm taking my bag.
Food's different.
I'm not here. I'm not actually yelling at you, but man. Man, if Kelora was there, you'd be getting a talking to.
Yeah.
But Kelora, alright, so you pocket the glowy, boogery material and
I like the colors. Yeah, I'm gonna head out. And shit, he's not here. I saw him leave. He didn't come back yet. Are we gonna? I'm gonna head out the front door and see if I can any if there's a marker or stalls out there that someone they would have been open early.
most of the markets are actually on that main thoroughfare, especially since you have to cut a couple back alleys to get to where this temple goes to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there and see if I start to see ask around if anybody was open earlier in the morning and see if I
Alright.
get it.
And Ronan, where are you headed from here?
Probably up to the marketplace also, just to check on Kelora and go with Torin to, because I think I have an idea of what he wants to do.
I'm just
So-
trying to
Ask if anybody was open when Wisp left to see if they saw which way it went.
Alright. So, and that'll bring us back to Kelora very briefly. So, what were you looking for at the market?
I'm looking for someone willing to trade me my spare armor, not my scale mail, but the chain mail that I've been carrying around for forever.
Oh, you mean like the extra 50 pounds of metal?
Yeah, that and 2 of my extra long swords, because I'm trying to downsize weight, for a scroll of protection against evil and good.
Making me math and roll things. Making me math and roll things. I rolled exactly 50. So, dead middle of the roll. Alright, I know exactly how I'm going to handle this. Since it decided it wanted to be exactly middle so it could go either way, 50-50 shot.
The dice said be creative.
Yep. So I'm gonna need this. Traditionally, this is a D2.
And if it lands on the middle, then if it lands on
In the middle.
if it
That's
lands
my
on the middle and
skill.
stays there, I get my way.
No matter what, yeah. If a coin lands like this, you can have whatever you want. The gods have spoken. Alright, so as you're wandering about, you see people trading in all sorts of things. Fresh baked bread. The temples themselves are moving in these things. In front of some of the larger, more pronounced temples, you see people demonstrating, offering healing for the young and the sick as a way to train their acolytes and their new recruits into the clergy. Like, trainee clerics are set out every morning, and all you do is show up and they heal you until they can't anymore, and then they go and do chores the rest of the day.
Basically, using their daily allotment of magic energy or magical energy. Okay.
Yes, to heal the poor.
So these would be level 1 clerics, yeah?
1 and 2. They go until they have no more medical kits and anything. They're casting their healing words, their cure wounds, and then they're kapoop and they go do chores and train in like melee and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And how to use shields and armor. This is what level 0 clerics do. These guys are just learning. First 2 spells they learn are Cure Wounds and Healing Word. That's it. They offer guidance when people make choices.
Yes. All the guidance.
For a donation. Now, you also, so after a while you find like a few different. There are several stalls who are each representing, and obviously the garb of the clergy of that church are the ones operating these stalls, since you have not left the faith-based district. One is in front of a very strange. The symbol over the door is a paired set of like knotwork type patterns shaped like 2 ravens whose beaks are touching over a triple moon symbol. They seem to have some magical items in set and scrolls, things of that nature available. Another would be the Temple of Palor seems to be offering some scrolls. the Temple of Lolth, the Spider Queen, the Spider Maiden, the Temple of Hecate is also offering, as is Athena.
I'm going to go with, because I'm
Those seem like your best bets.
going to start with the Temple of Athena,
Okay.
because at least the god my family worshipped was in that pantheon.
Alright.
I am still wearing my amulet of Thanatos.
Squids or spirals?
Spirals.
Okay.
And I'm going to very respectfully address the people there, holding my goods. And pardon me, unfortunately, I seem to have undertaken a bit of a vow of poverty. But I'm looking for somewhere I could trade my goods for a scroll of protection against good and evil. My party needs to address Tiamat.
So the person who wanders up to you from the Temple of Athena is a well-dressed half-orc, actually. Stands about 7'2". Half-orc, half Goliath.
The look in Kelora's eyes is just admiration.
As far as you're concerned, his biceps look like your drumsticks.
Just like, no, pure admiration. Just,
His armor is in traditional Greco-Roman style with the full chiseled look breastplate. He is wearing the full tufted helm of Athena and everything, and carrying a shield and with a spear strapped to his back.
kinda, yeah.
He's like, well, aren't you an interesting little thing? What can I help you with?
It would appear that I've found myself undertaking a bit of a vow of poverty for a while, but I have some goods. I'm looking for a place where I can trade them for a scroll of protection against good and evil, as a member of my party has gotten us into a contract where we need to address Tiamat. And far be it from me to force him not to fulfill his end of the contract, but I would like some protection.
Alright, well, let me see what you've got here. Lay it out on the table. I
lay it out nicely. The long swords are the ones that were made back in Evermist. They haven't even been used yet. They're in great condition, and the scale mail is still in great condition because I switched out of it or the chainmail is in great condition because I switched out of it pretty much immediately.
Alright. So, have you been keeping it oiled and things of that
Yes.
nature?
Yes.
Yeah, because you have been in a very damp climate. If you do not keep metal armor boiled, it will rust.
Kelora is a fighter. She's been taking care of both her sets of armor every night.
Alright. So, he looks it over and steps back, kind of smiles a little bit. It's interesting. Some interesting stuff you've got there. He sits down his shield and you hear the kathong, and it almost rings like a bell.
Kelora hasn't felt lust in a very, very long time, but ooh.
The butt of his spear is actually spiked, and he lays
Yep.
it enough to chip the ground and lean it against something so that it props itself. And he picks up the sword, gives it a few practice swings. It's good steel. You needed what for this?
I'm just looking for a scroll of protection against good and evil.
I need a DMG, please. It's the dungeon master.
On the bottom there.
Yep.
Bottom!
I need to check something. Could you check what level that spell is?
Circle of protection against good evil.
I need a PH.
There's
for that one right here. I believe that would have to be in the player's handbook because it's a base level spell.
Yep. My catch is that I have to figure out.
It's a first level abjuration.
Okay. That helps. So, scrolls. Not shipwrecks. Ships, shadows, settlements. 9. That was close. Scrolls, most purple has spell scrolls. Let's see. Okay, so spell scrolls are considered a limited treasure item. They're normally worth. Alright, so what's the cost on the longsword standard?
Double it because these are artisan.
Kelora doesn't know much about magic, but she knows a bit about armor.
Yeah. Turns out that Athena's a warrior goddess and a protector, so not the worst place to go. You chose wisely. Any of them probably would have been able to give you that. The question is what it would have cost you in the
So it would
bargain.
have been 30 GP each, so 60 GP.
60 gold?
Yep.
Each.
No, total.
Oh.
Well-maintained scale mail, or chainmail, is another 75 gold. So I'm cozying up to about 150 gold's value.
Alright, so
He actually just looks at you, all things considered, walks over to what you notice to be a, like, you remember having the cubby bins when you were in, like, elementary school, the little, like, box that was wide open?
Hmm?
He's got one of those, and it's got scrolls maybe about big around, like, poster size around, yay long, stacked, as many as could possibly be in there without crushing one. Walks over, pulls one out, it's like, leans the sword up against the, takes one of the swords off the table. You can keep the rest, but here you go. Discount. We've got a new group of training acolytes in. So, it'll work. Don't utter it wrong.
Take your time casting it.
Don't insult anyone with it.
I haven't any intention of insulting anyone. Just, if only one person's gonna get out of this alive, I'd prefer it to be me.
Well, that should produce a 10-foot radius of protection, so...
8.5 feet away from the party the whole time. Get one of them. Save one. I can only get one.
I'm dead.
I believe you enough, but I am not trusting.
See, the irony is that it could be one of you on either side of them, and then they can't do shit.
Lean left or lean right. Pick one. Okay.
Well, it just makes it so you want to stay close.
To her.
Don't fart.
So when we get out to the market, do we get any headway on?
So, Yeah, right about the time that you finish making your deal and you're collecting your armor and everything, you see Ronan and Torin making their way back into or making the way into the market. You're relatively close to where the exit street was, just because of the way everything's arranged through this particular corridor.
I am going to go see if I can find an armorer or a blacksmith to refresh my hand axe collection.
You see Kelora like gathering
Replacing.
walking out of one place and going up and off with chainmail and one of their long swords in their hand, and a rather satisfied look on their face as they tuck a scroll into one of their side pouches.
And this one doesn't have a latch. It's all the way inside of my bag that is tied to my hip. So don't get any funny ideas about actually managing to be a rogue.
You totally still steal it. Nat 20 always succeeds.
Yeah, a natural 20.
And you could always crit fail your perception check. It happens. All the
You
time.
will never see the light of day again.
So in our question session, as we're roaming around and asking, but you like, I really feel like we should have like a wanted poster with this picture on it. Like, you see this guy? And describing.
In Castara, that might not work out as well as you think.
I just need the picture. I don't care about the one anything. Like, my buddy's missing. You know, I have my own warranty poster. Like, this is me. This is my partner.
Have you seen my kitty?
Oh no, you're putting up missing
that
cat
crossed my
posters
mind,
for
but anyway,
this.
go there.
Oh my god.
What?
You're putting up missing cat posters for Wisp?
No, I so I wish I had like a picture of Wiz instead of like running around describing him every time I see someone.
Well, he does have that skull mask that he wears, so he's not exactly hard. That would be the other thing that you'd notice, that they did say he was wearing the mask versus having it pulled up on top of his head.
Mm-hmm.
And there were runes glowing on it.
He's doing something with his patron.
So you hear that out of Kelora. He was doing something with his patron. I'm gonna leave him the fuck alone.
Look, I don't know much about all this magic shit.
Neither do I.
I don't give a lot of shit about this magic shit. To the point where if I want magic, I have to buy it printed on a page. But
So,
the one
17
thing,
minutes?
the one thing I refuse to do is get between a magic person and the source of that magic.
Would I know that patron thing? As long as I'm part of the party? As long as
You can make an Arcana check to find out.
If you crit fail this, you're fired.
19.
Yeah, this was one of those difficulty 2 type moments. So you would know that he probably was being pulled by his patron being a warlock, and that his power comes from an otherworldly source. He sold some part of himself for that. There's a deal involved.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he was getting called on part of that deal, so to speak.
I'm gonna leave that the fuck alone.
I'm with you on that part.
For all intents and purposes, until he returns, he's not in our party.
Okay.
We will get him back ASAP. We're going to try and figure out to do it over the internet thing.
He'll return. He'll be part of the party again. But we need to let his patron have his full and undivided attention.
So, you were going looking for a blacksmith. Are you going to inform them of your plans?
I'm headed to the blacksmith to relieve myself of the weight of some of my armor and refresh my hand axe collection.
Okay. Ooh, I still might want to save my shit.
I'm
Is it
going
ready?
to look. I'm going to take wing to look.
It will still take it a week to get here from where it is.
I'm gonna follow Kelora to the blacksmith and try to sell some of my weapons that I don't need. And some of the stuff that I have that they might be able to use.
I'm gonna head there. I'm gonna start asking around if anybody ships stuff between where my specialty stuff is and here. Like who does business and like how they do it, like how they get things delivered from there.
Now, there's a shipment about one. You would find out about after very little asking being required. It takes about a week. Now, as far as blacksmiths go,
I took to Wing to find the blacksmith.
they're not hard to find.
No, I figured there were plenty.
There's like 4 predominant ones.
I go to the third one I can find.
Strange. This one seems to specialize in bows and hand axes. You see a lot of Norse type designs to it. You can't pronounce the name. It's mostly. It's ULLR.
Yerl.
Ullr.
Yerl.
Yeah, it'd be
Yerk.
Ullr.
It's Yerk.
Mm-hmm.
Ullr. Without attempting to pronounce it because
You
Cool.
notice that they predominantly carry hand axes and bows.
I lay, my goods on the table and say, I would like to walk away with as many hand axes as you can give me for this. Except for anything he sells you.
See, you went to the third one. I never said I was with you.
You said you were following me.
But you said you took off in flight, so I just followed that
He
direction.
can't follow you that way.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
So I just
Follow
followed
your
you that
shadow.
direction, and I went to the very first one I saw, because
Yeah.
what's
I
the
don't want
point
to
of going
buy
too far?
hand bags back from you.
That would put you. Very first one that you would come across.
Of quality.
Don't make the DM's eye twitch like that.
Of quality. They're on the main thoroughfare of the religious district representing their churches. It's all of some form of quality. It's just some of it's a little extra.
Okay, well, I'm not buying anything, I'm selling.
So, well, that's fine. I'm just trying to figure out which one's the first one.
Okay.
Yep. What you find yourself in front, you see the place that you come across, the door is no more than 6 foot total in height inside of its frame, but still relatively wide. Like, not gnome door, but wider.
He's dwarven.
Yes. And above the door is an image emblazoned in black iron and adamantine of a hammer and an anvil. The inside, the smell coming from inside of this particular shop reminds you of very cheap, you're pretty sure that's whiskey, it might be paint thinner. Yeah, the kind of stuff that makes you do that just thinking about it. And
It might just be paint thinner.
My toe burns.
like getting shot in the face with a flat cannon. And mixed with sulfur and the smell of metal, slag, and coal burning. And occasionally you hear a very loud pop. And at one point you watch as a dwarf in robes, as this place is actually set into a building past the storefront, takes a backpack and blows something out over the coals while he's heating a piece of metal, and everything turns white hot and flashes.
Okay.
Person who's basically manning the front counter's like, so, how can I help you?
I just want to know if you would be interested in any of the items I have for sale.
Well, it depends on what you have for sale, and it depends on what you want for it.
Whatever you'll give me, I got just a few small things, like a burnt spearhead that you might be able to refurbish.
Burnt spearhead.
That you might be able to remelt down and reuse.
Well, if the temper isn't gone out the metal, maybe. Otherwise, I'd have to re-smelt it. Well, I haven't opened up the smelter in a while. That could be fun. Rust does burn interesting. Maybe if I scrape it off and mix it with... Oh, that could be fun.
And then I also have an oak and iron pike about 9 feet long with the oak handle.
Alright. Take a look at that. It's worth a few gold at least.
2 gold teeth. Don't ask me how I got them. You don't want to know the story.
Well, I'd hope you yanked him out yourself. Or knocked him out of somebody. I mean, if you're grave robbing for gold teeth, then you need to find yourself somewhere else.
Well, he was dead.
Did
But
you
it
kill
wasn't-
him?
Yes.
Oh, that's completely fine then.
It was looted, yes.
You're just selling a trophy at that point.
I also have 12 platinum rings worth about 24 gold. I'm willing to make a deal with you. I'll sell them to you for 20.
12 platinum rings. I'd have to take a look at them. I might be able to go and fuse them into... Yeah, he did.
And then, I don't know if you could do anything with them. I got 3 singed copper pieces that are worth no value anymore because of the singeing.
He takes the copper from you. Here. Just pulls them out, puts them in his coin purse and hands you 3 clean coppers.
Okay.
Money's money. It all weighs the same.
And also a holy symbol made out of silver. And I just showed you the holy symbol.
I never seen that church before. Alright.
I'm willing to make a deal on everything.
How much were you trying to make? Do you want any goods? Or are you trying to barter, buy, a little bit of both? What can I do you for?
Cash is king where I need what I need right now. I don't really have the use for these, and I already am almost over encumbered with the other weapons I have that I do use.
So you're carrying enough weight on your person. Alright.
Well, let's
Not my place to question.
Oh.
Not my place to judge.
Also, I almost forgot. One more thing. A hand axe. And I set down the hand axe. Just a standard hand axe.
It does have my property of Kelora Macewind carved into it.
Don't worry, I want it.
You want it, huh? Well, I need you to roll a D percentile for me.
Permission to use my phone to look up something, the value of an item?
Sure.
I gave the player's handbook a thorough looking through before asking.
What were you looking for?
The value of a platinum ring.
Well, the price that I had was straight from the DM when I got it.
Because
That's exactly what the DM told me was I had 12 platinum rings worth 24 gold. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but if it's not a lot of platinum, then yeah. It's not a full
Platinum
ounce of
coated.
platinum.
I'm just curious because it seemed neat.
Like chainmail type rings.
Oh, okay. See, I was seeing an entirely different picture in my head.
Oh no, that would be worth hundreds of gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see why I'm like.
No, these
playing-
are like chainmail size rings.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
okay.
just little rings that are made out of platinum that the numbers came straight from the DM.
No. Kelora may be irritated
45.
with Ronan, but I was not gonna let you sell
45.
the picture in my head for
45?
20 gold.
Yeah, that's the D percentile I got, 45. Yeah,
The
no, I
answer
wouldn't have just
is,
sold
well-
a random number either.
They looked at. He goes over to the. You said that was carved into the handle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So well, I won't take that hand axe. I mean, I don't know the person, but with my luck, they'll walk through that door right there. They'll see an axe with their name on it. They'll walk out the door with it, and if anybody asks, they'll just tell them. It's mine, see?
It's a good way to
Now
promote
that I
it.
think about it, some dumbass bird did that to me about 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's probably the dumbass bird I won this off of.
I was a teenager then.
They're not as dumb, but still a little dumb.
Still a good way to keep your shit from getting stolen. Harder to sell it if it's got your name on it.
It is, actually.
Well, technically, I did win it because you never pulled it out of. I pulled it out of myself.
Lucas, I'd love to know how you won this. I mean, telltale blood stains.
It's my blood. They just forgot to retrieve it after our fight, and they didn't kill me.
At about this time, I walk in because I'm also looking for a great axe.
Speaking of the bird,
Oi! Completely disregarding Ronan.
Huh?
Come
Hold
on.
on. I'm in the middle of something. So, you can keep your axe. Obviously, it was left in your care for a reason. But I'll take the rest. Give you. For the platinum rings, I'll give you 20 gold even. I can only do so much with those as far as adding value to anything I make. And that's all it is pretty value for the Richie folks.
that's why I figured we could make a deal even if it's scrap value.
Oh no, it's not scrap, it's platinum, and I'm gonna keep it in ring shape, so that'll be fine. The rest of what you got, plus that, I've got no use for that spearhead. The pike, well, the halberd, excuse me. I'll give you a good 10 gold for it. It's used. I'll tell you what. I'll take everything else off your hands for 50 gold even. And you can take the axe with you.
So that's 50 gold for everything, or is that including the prices that I already got?
Well, that'll be 50 gold for everything else besides the rings. Those I'll give you a flat 20, so that'll be 70 total.
Okay.
That ought to get you started here in town.
And 70 gold is about 7 platinum, right?
Correct.
Can you make it 7 platinum?
No. We don't carry platinum pieces here.
So let's see.
Lad, if you've got enough platinum, or if you've got enough gold that you need platinum, then you should find a bank, because carrying that around this town is a surefire way to end up with empty pockets. And that would bring us to you, Torin. Where are you at
Well-
through the insanity?
It's
Yeah,
Torin's
I'm
turn.
still wandering around, still trying to figure out, like, I can find a faster way to get my stuff here from the other place. We're keeping an eye on those two. Just kind of.
So what you would find out is that it's about once a week there's a shipment that comes from the north from
But I'm trying. Kind of like kind of teleport, like I'm hinting at like black market, like quicker ways, but like
It's strange, but the cheapest that you can find that kind of transport for that rapid of a time scale is around 2,500 gold just for yourself.
shit. We need a Home Depot. Okay. 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 Are they almost wrapped up what they're getting?
Yeah, you would notice that they're, well, Kelora had just walked into the same blacksmith that Ronan was in.
Okay.
And what were you?
Going on the value you'd given me for the longsword before, I sold it for at the first smith shop
Yeah.
for the 30 value, and bought 4 new hand axes, but then left myself with 10 gold. I'm coming in here with the 75 gold value scale mail, and the chain shirt worth 50, and the 10 looking for a really good great axe. Oh, and the rest of my long swords.
All right. So how much is the total on what that's worth according to the blue book value?
I am bearing about 180 gold value.
And how much does a great axe go for?
A great axe goes for 30, but I am looking for something fine.
You can find a masterwork level one for about 90.
Cool.
And he'll give you the axe for everything you've got.
Have at it. Less for me to carry.
Fair. Okay, so this axe is slightly lighter.
Right?
The reason that it's 3 times the value is because it is made of mithril.
Alright, is it still heavy two-handed, or can I wield it one-handed?
Because of the bulk, it is still heavy two-handed.
Okay.
Because of the weight, you can still throw it.
Someone come get him.
But it is just a standard great axe other than being made of mithril.
Hey, it's fine. It sits nicely on my back.
It is overly shiny. You would notice the blade almost, it shines slightly duller than a platinum coin.
Ooh.
Mithril's very, very, very lightweight, very durable, very shiny.
You wouldn't maybe happen to have a shield that could go with this? I'd need nothing better than just a piece of wood that straps to my back.
No. We don't deal in shields.
Where would you have me go for that?
Wouldn't know. Core don't much like us visiting other forges. And then you watch as the front doors to the work areas open, and there is actually a dwarf with goggles and what looks like a flamethrower that's spitting out white hot sparks over these coals as they are heating metal.
Mm.
The metal that's being heated is very interesting. It looks like they're folding adamantine and mithril together. Doing kind of like the Damascus steel thing with adamantine and mithril.
That's gorgeous.
So you get this really heavy black metal, and adamantine is heavy, lightened and made more flexible with mithril.
I take out my little carving pen and immediately, right there in front of him, property of Kelora Macewind, and put it on my back.
I need you to go ahead and roll sleight of hand because you're holding it in one hand and trying to do all of this. You're putting that on the handle with what now?
Just my little carving pin.
Okay.
And that was, I'm gonna take the 2 because it's on top. It ain't pretty. I'm not a crafter.
He can't read it. It literally looks like a chicken scratched the handle of this.
Well, that's what the last one looked like.
No, actually, that one's better carved.
But I rolled a 1 when I carved that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it just looks like. I guess I'd assumed that
No,
you
I just-
actually cleaned it up as you went on.
I mean, I did, and I will with this one. But yeah, no, that one looked just bad chicken scratched. Kelora is not a writer, despite being proficient with cartographer's tools. I
And draw a map. Good luck reading it. Alright. So yeah, you would walk into them, basically unloading everything for this really shiny great axe.
Roll under 20 and see if I can talk him into getting over there now.
You're
Unfortunately,
gonna try to talk him into what now?
Following me.
Unfortunately, my friend, I need to find myself a shield first.
We can find it on the way. I found the shop. Down this way.
If you continue to act that way, I won't go any direction at all with
I
you.
have the pee. Like, y'all are taking forever.
Then piss. There's a
For
trench
real?
out in the alley.
No.
Okay.
I mean, no.
There's a trench out in the alley? Yeah, that's true. You aren't starved. You know, people fall asleep in those trenches.
What the?
It's not my fault that they fall asleep in the trenches. Everyone else pisses it.
And that's why I don't drink.
In public.
Yes, I'll lock myself in a room and get retarded, but I will not do it in public. I end up in my underwear.
What time is it anyway?
10 to 6.
10 to 6?
Yeah,
So we're gonna go ahead and take a bio break here.
nice.
That ought to give us enough time to recuperate ourselves, get refreshed, all that good stuff. Do the Macarena, whatever. And we'll be back in a few minutes.
Don't forget to do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around.
Turn around too many times you get dizzy and fall over them.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Kelora is offloading all of it.
Sometimes we get so caught up in our own point of view that we fail to see the common ground we share with others. These days,
It's becoming a nightmare.
And we are back from possibly one of our fastest bio breaks ever.
Right?
The weather's getting colder. Nobody wants to sit outside in the snow or in the cold for long. But, alright, so as they finish up in the having lightened your loads considerably.
Nope.
By the way, Ronan, just as a polite out of character reminder, how are you doing on crossbow bolts?
I had 50 to start with. I'd say it probably used about half.
So you're at 25.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're fine. Keep eyes on that, because if you don't recover them,
Yeah.
they go quick.
Yep.
Yeah, I lost a couple.
Another thing I'm disappointed in Baldur's Gate about, I don't have to buy arrows, but I can get cool arrows, and those are, you don't need a bow for. But, alright. So, that all being the case, and the madness being what it is, as you stand here at the Temple of Kor's Forge, and as you look around, you realize that it's actually built into the back of the temple. Like, when they open that door that goes into the work area, you notice it actually kind of opens up out into the temple itself proper, and there are priests of all races forging weapons in any metal you could probably imagine. Hundreds of them. It's a big church. More prevalent religion, more followers,
Yep.
especially if it's a god of the
More
forge,
commercial tax.
more hammers a swinging.
Yep.
The only one that's scary is I'm just glad neither of y'all picked the Temple of Hephaestus.
Yeah.
You can't afford them.
With good.
You could buy 2 or 3 things, maybe.
That's more than I can buy, so.
Hephaestus was an artificer.
Mhm.
So instead of having a workstation full of blacksmiths, no, it's a workstation full of artificers building shit out of whatever they can get their hands on that does all kinds of what the hell. They make wondrous items for fun. And then test them on the local population for recreation in the newly found basin. Speaking of which, round about as you're sitting there finishing, and Kelora, you're finishing up your thing, you hear a massive explosion. It shakes the ground. Few axes fall over from their stands on the wall. A glass vase shakes off the shelf and hits the ground. Unless somebody wants to try and catch it.
Not my base.
I've ripped this guy off before, so I am going to attempt to catch it.
Hey, go ahead and roll your dex check. It's a dex save, actually, for this one. Yeah, we'll call it reflex, basically.
Let's see, dex save. Let's see. That's a solid 15.
So, you managed to catch it, and it looks like one of those cartoon character catching things on every limb, only it's just you holding up your new axe, which works as a pretty nice prop for you to catch this thing on a shaky surface. You meet, so.
Mm?
And as he's holding, he's like, well, thanks. Could you put my mom's ashes on the counter, please?
Once I establish my balance, set my axe down for a second and...
Appreciate you. Look, what time is it? They're not supposed to be able to test before 11.
Test what?
Oh. Every now and then something blows up when the Temple of Hephaestus is testing a new invention. You know, there's not much you can do about it. Yeah, one wrong rune, some gnomish contraption. explodes in a colorful array of whiz-bangs and shrapnel.
Okay.
Yeah. Every now and then one gets stuck in somebody out in the cheap side, but what can you do? They don't piss anybody off. Or if they are pissed off, they're not going to say anything. So, where are you guys at?
Just looking for a shield.
A shield. She overlooks the buckler that you already have. Looks like you got one.
No, the wyvern took my shield.
Oh yeah, the wyvern did grab your shield.
I didn't roll high enough to keep it.
Well, shield with a great axe.
Just something small.
So like a buckler.
Hi.
Ain't that gonna get in your way?
No. Of course, I'll need to take my time to practice, but no.
All right. Well, I'm sure we can find something for you. Just a standard buckler, right?
Yeah, just a standard buckler.
You got 5 gold.
Alright. And that would be the last of all of my cash on me.
Well, that's convenient. I didn't even know. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
No, you said you got 10 gold.
No, I had 10 gold that I'd gotten from selling my wares elsewhere. And brought that in. He took everything I had off me for the mithril great axe. I had 5 gold left over from my forays on the ship.
Yeah, so yeah, that's right.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm in a bit of a vow of poverty at the moment.
Yeah. And everybody seems pretty accepting of your willingness to barter, so there's that.
Respect goes a long ways.
Actually, it's just that barter is the oldest form of commerce on any planet, and the first to go. I'll get there in a minute. So, he goes into the back, he gets you a relatively nice little buckler. It's nothing special, it's just a buckler. It'll give you a +1 bonus as long as it's equipped to your forearm. As for armor, you don't have to be holding it or lose hand. You can use two-handed weapons with it. That's a little bit of homebrew on my part. I've looked, they don't allow that normally. I just used a buckler, and I know you can use a buckler with a two-handed weapon, and it's not a problem.
In a place probably in your form, it doesn't impede your wrist, which is what you would need to will to sort that out. So, yeah.
And the things on my character sheet that I need a shield for don't specify what kind of shield I have to be wielding.
Yes.
So rules as written, a buckler will do.
Yep. I'll allow it. So, you had a question? No, I did not. I like the stray flowers.
Do you know a place where I could spend some time with my new axe?
Well, there's the basin. I mean, all kinds of weird things running around in there these days. That's why we let the artificers test things down there. Just don't get yourself blown up.
Alright. Works for me. My friend, before we go into that temple, I'm gonna need to hone my skills a little bit with this weapon.
You're acting like it's a bad thing. We're gonna get some information, like go to war.
The bird's paranoid.
I see that.
Bird's very paranoid. I know enough to know that we're going to try to kill one of these particular gods' children.
You're assuming that anyway. You're welcome to think that.
Well, it's got me nice and paranoid.
Yep, I know. That means I did my job.
What, did she give me a deadline? She didn't give me a deadline, did she?
Nope. No deadlines.
Like I had everybody. The clock is fucking fine.
No, yeah, the agreement was that you got them all to show up with you, and she would give you the information and the other things you asked,
Right. Sure.
as long as they were willing to show up with an open mind to talk.
Yeah.
Seems like a fair agreement to me.
Yeah.
There's the one. Alright.
Did I ever offload that spyglass we got from the Hag's Hut?
No, since I started playing, no. You just had it.
The spyglass and most of those other things would still be in your room at the Cheerful Traveler. That would have been in the things you didn't take with you when you went through the portal.
Okay.
The spyglass is special.
I was just. Would I have offloaded that?
No. You did not offload it. You left it in Evermist.
For good reason.
Alright. So, having duly collected yourselves, no, you do not have a time limit on that. She probably did that for a reason.
Probably.
Mortals should not question the way the gods. Getting much better now. I put a hole down through the middle. Alright, so where you guys headed? What you guys talking about? Right now you just stand in the middle of a hot alleyway in the street.
Well, I'm going to be off down to the,
Basin thingy.
basin! That's the word my brain deleted.
You've heard basin and crater as what they are describing this as.
Just long enough to sharpen myself on my new weapon.
I'd like try to persuade her, like, hey, we'll keep making this person wait so we can end the day. Like,
You can try.
A great axe is a martial weapon, so I would have proficiency,
Right.
but it makes sense to take time to train with it.
Well, not, yeah.
It's trying to convince you all to
15.
15. So let's hear this convincing conversation.
You gotta make me do it.
Yep.
No, it's not really. I'm gonna express my concern that we are making this person wait, and I don't want them to get skittish and disappear. We don't really lose the information. We've been up a while, running around town a while, assuming it's early afternoon.
Yeah, give or take.
So I don't want to like waste the whole day away and all the daylight. We can't do nothing tonight. Wait till tomorrow to act on it. Whatever.
I mean, I can sharpen my skills on your hide.
Actually, though, go ahead and roll your go ahead and roll your wisdom save.
Okay.
It would be a wisdom save for this at this point because of the persuasion. You gave me a DC for it already, so.
Do I have to roll one too?
If you're not if you want to try out, depending on which side you want to weigh in on.
Her paranoia or just going to meet the person for the information.
In all honesty, I don't care what we do, as long as we get something done.
That would be a flat 17. I have no save bonuses to wisdom.
Alright, so yeah, no, they seem pretty set in there. No, we need to go like practice. It's actually set enough that you believe them a little bit more over your urgency. Well, that's what happens when you lose the persuasion and they beat your roll.
Barely, they barely beat my
Yeah, well, if it had been a natural 20, you would have said it would have been. Oh, well, suddenly it sounds like a really good idea to go practicing on your skills. Some.
Now watch. I'm gonna get asked for a skill check that I have like advantage in, and it's gonna be 2 nat 1s.
It's happened.
Bullshit. Is it bullshit?
Yeah.
I call it bullshit.
They have had the. It was actually a 1 and a 3 on a DC 10. The answer was no.
I'm gonna mutter to myself and follow her because I'm like trying to. I'm thinking of something like maybe I'll try a different approach and like muttering and talking to myself and follow her to wherever she's going.
Okay, both of you, go ahead and roll a perception. No, you're good. Ronan and Kelora.
$21.
16.
So out of 16, are you actively trying to keep it under your breath?
I'm already making my life so goddamn hard right now. Like, kind of
Go ahead and roll stealth to try and keep it down.
No, fuck my life.
Oh no, you're pretty loud about it, so go ahead and be loud about it for a second and try and mutter.
Goddamn bird! Fucking just why won't you fucking just go? This is fucking bullshit.
I don't like dragons.
I'm poor. I'm dragon.
Why do you think it's taken me so long to even think I might like you?
It's still. Fucking next one.
No?
No, unless you'd like me to lump you in with your kin as conniving, dangerous creatures.
Well, I don't know. I have conducted myself in a mostly trustworthy way, other than that incident on the boat.
Now, I'd like to go spend an hour working with my new weapon to ensure that my skills are sharp.
Then can we go?
Then we will go.
I tell like a 2-year-old too. Can we go?
Is that alright? So everybody heading down into the caldera then?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so as you go and wind your way through towards on a ground level, because of the way that the main platform where the airships land is,
Mhm.
you notice that you're now under where you came to the city from. As you wander down, and it starts sloping gradually at first, and then about 20 yards or about 200-300 feet past where everything is, like, you know how a lake will have a drop-off point?
Oh yeah, like when you like gradually go down, so it's like fuck me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as you're walking, after about 200 feet into this space, you see what looks like a porch, kind of, sticking out about 15 feet wide. Made out of stone. It almost looks like the stone itself was carved in this manner. And it creates steps down, and below you see what looks like rainbow-colored crystals that arc pure magic between them. Every now and then you'll see a massive explosion go off. There are random gnomes and goblins racing around on some of the oddest looking flying contraptions you have ever bloody well seen. One of them kind of looks like a shop vac going back on the blow option, and every time he aims to himself in the direction he wants to go with the hose, hooked to like a set of very odd bat wings. Whee! The energy coming out of the back of it is a light. Like it's light. It's almost a pink light with blue smoke in a jet, like Jetson's status with a little flat clouds around the line.
I don't see that every day.
No, you do not. I'm looking for a place with some hunks of wood. Just.
Heading down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually about a 20-minute trip to the bottom. You realize it's about 500-600 feet of winding back and forth carved stone steps. It gets the way it goes is it's the first set of stairs is on the outside where you can see down into the lake basin. Then it curves inward toward the cliff, cuts down into a well lit with randomly colored, like somebody just enchanted everything with dancing lights for giggles and fairy fire for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then loops back out, and it's literally a spiral stairwell done so that it goes into the cliff face for the second part. 15 feet by 30 feet at the widest parts where the two platforms meet. Takes you about 20 minutes of going down these stairs into the basin of this, and it's a deep hole.
Hmm.
You're starting to understand why it is that it might have shook.
Mm-hmm.
Can't see the sun anymore at this hour. You're assuming it's probably because of the platform overhead.
Mm-hmm. Once we're down in the bottom, I am going to take a moment kneeling. I am going to produce one of those little bits of barley that I keep in my go pouch. Burn it, and Athena, grant that my blade may become part of me.
Okay.
And then find me something reasonably cuttable.
Alright. So, as you all would get to the bottom of this, you would notice that yes, there are a very large number of, like, what look like gemstones, some of which arc magical power, some of which glow and pulsate. Some of which are growing out of root structures that all seem to direct themselves towards the center of everything directly underneath the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Now keep in mind this lake bed is about 2 miles across, and and
I feel like I've been in a fight in this crater before.
possibly. And all of its like root structure to that central skeleton of a tree that you all landed in basically the central part of, like in the middle of the trunk. Well, now you're down where the roots are, and you can see above you actually where the trunk goes, and the roots are, this is just the root structure of the tree and what dirt is left after the water's drained out of the lake.
Mm-hmm.
The crystals grow off of everything like sediment made out of pure magic. And strange things scurry through parts of all of it. But the closest thing that you would find to anything choppable would be very large chunks of gnarled root. Where these stairs come down, we're talking this big around, and snaking up, anything smaller would actually still be underground.
Mm-hmm. Just want to make sure I can hit right with it. I'm proficient, so it won't take me long. I want to spend an hour just chopping wood.
Alright, what you guys doing while she starts swinging that axe in this beautiful place?
Did you catch my eye? Uniquely catch my eye. Be more specific.
Strange creatures that look like they came out of the Fey realm. Strange glowing rocks that seem to be like crystallized magical sediments that somehow formed in the basin of this crater. There's, at one point you see a fairy on a broom collide with a gnarled root that comes up out of the ground and swats it. It did look slightly different than the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Go away. Find some of that sparkly sediment. Okay. Is it like sand, or is it like an actual rock?
It's like somebody was growing rock candy in the shape of quartz crystals, some of them as tall as 8 feet, in very thin needle-like spires. Multiple different colors.
I want to see if I can chisel off just a little, take out of
What
the ground.
color?
Just anyone that just seems interesting to me. Like I'm gonna go through and feel the energy.
How many
and
different
just-
colors are there?
Pink, purple, blue, yellow, green, white, black, red, fuchsia. There's a weird yellow green one and a peridot colored one. And one that's a ruby red, not a garnet red.
That's what I was going for with my 12.
Pick a color.
Like, is it just solid thing, or is there like dust on the ground? Like, over there?
There's some sands like this. There's also like normal what you would expect for
Sand's what
silicate.
I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I
There's all
rolled a
kinds.
4. So number 4.
That was red.
All right.
Fitting.
All right. So, I need you to roll to hit as well, by the way.
All right. I haven't written it down yet.
Yeah, I need you to roll to hit.
Didn't that plus my dex?
Yeah. Counts as a dagger. You are proficient with it.
26. 19 plus 7.
Cool. So, you grab your hammer and your chisel, and you're so used to tapping out locks. 23?
Yeah.
Cool. You're so used to tapping out locks that you just... Well, the good news is that a shard of this does break loose. The bad news is I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. And how close to you or to him were you?
I don't know how close was the colored sand from where he was at.
Well, it would be a rainbow, and he's just randomly picking one, so I'm giving you a choice of carte blanche. I just need to know about
I'm
how
gonna go
close
like the
you-
shiniest one, so I'm like see a couple, but I'm looking for one that kind of brighter, brighter. And I wanna.
18.
Good news. You only take... You take 8 points of fire damage and are knocked flat back 1 foot and are prone. Now, the good news is that the crystal that you knocked off did not explode and is laying on the ground. You hear it bounce, and after watching the initial explosion, you hear the tink, tink, tink after the bang, and every last bounce, it rolls, and you can hear, like, you've heard a bottle rolling across the floor. It's kind of that, or imagine one made out of lead crystal. It makes that sound as it rolls and stops right at your foot, Kelora. About 15 feet away from you, the force of the blast and all that good stuff. Fortunately, it didn't knock you that far. I only rolled 1 foot on a d8 for you. At 8 feet, you would have been knocked back into Kelora. Alright, the good news is you do now have a crystallized essence of fire.
I'm gonna leave it right where it is. For some reason, I'm not paying any attention to the crystals. I've been here before.
Uh-huh. And you know the DM.
Uh-huh.
I know.
Crystallized,
If it's real shiny,
What?
leave it alone.
crystallized form of fire.
A crystallized essence of fire. It's a form of alchemic salt in a solid.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet, I can learn things.
I was just taking a little pouch of goats with colored sand.
Okay. It takes you maybe about 5 minutes. You find it's a very wondrous plethora of miscellaneous colored sands. Kind of glows a little bit in places. Certain colored pieces glow. and it feels weird in your hand. Almost, it actually, holding it in your hand for a minute, any aches that you had in the morning go away.
I am, however, going to go find a green crystal after I've spent my hour chopping wood, just making sure my aim's good.
Can I go look for a green one?
And I'm not going to assault it.
You didn't assault it. He actually tried to do it outright with a chisel.
If it had been a crystal.
It was a crystal. It isn't a crystalline form, ergo.
Yeah, but I'm talking if it had been just a rock. These are not just rocks.
Okay.
I am going to spend a minute physically touching it before deciding how I'm going to proceed.
A green one. Which green?
A nicer forest green, like the leaves when they turn in spring.
Let's spend a minute. Alright, I need you to make a constitution save.
I figured as much. There's a whole bunch of things that do green.
Uh-huh.
Oh wait, finally decided to give me something average. That's a whole whopping 12.
So, that being the case, as you reach out and touch this, because you're not trying to actually hit it to break off a crystal.
13, sorry.
Okay. That
8
doesn't
plus
change
5.
anything. So, how to put this politely? That's not the die I need to roll. You take 8 points of damage.
Okay.
Poison damage. And are poisoned. In the first 10 seconds out of the 6 sets of 10 that you're holding this. So within the first 10 seconds, you start feeling weak and queasy and like something's wrong.
That would be about the moment I'd let go. I'm looking for a plant-based magic, not a death magic.
Alright.
I'm gonna hold on to the antidote in my pocket until I finish touching things.
That's a viable choice. I can respect that.
Wrong green. Let's try a new one.
8 hit points isn't too bad considering I've got 87. I got a couple hit points to spare on touching things.
Depends on what it is.
Ain't Tav licking dead spiders, so we're good.
Alright. So, Ronan, as you go flying back, you watch as you see this weird, almost mist come off of the green one that Kelora touches. And you watch them wince back and look like they're about to throw up and feel weakened as they let go of it. It's like, oh, you all would see this.
Not what I'm looking for. A deeper forest green. I'm
Deeper?
avoiding the greens that give me the oh fuck no vibes.
Deeper.
Not a Halloween green.
Not a Halloween green? Okay.
Like a pine green.
Fresh
All right.
pine or old pine?
Fresh pine.
Emeraldy green. Not
Okay.
black, mint, or
I'm not looking for anything noxious.
Okay. That one was actually the deepest forest green out of the group.
the one you just touched.
Yeah. Did you not? Have you ever seen poisonous plants? Most of them have a very, very beautiful, deep
Oh,
green
gorgeous.
hue.
That's why I touched it. And I'm looking for an earthy pine.
There's nothing that quite matches that color. The next thing up would be the peridot.
Okay.
How are you? Okay, curious. What do your fingers look like?
The standard humanoid fingers.
Okay.
It's like the only part of me that's genuinely humanoid.
Okay. you do me a favor and roll 2d12?
Yeah.
I'll feel guilty on this one.
19. What kind of damage?
Your
am I
finger
taking?
takes 19 points of damage. You are now 1 digit less.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, there's a bad piece of news. There's no new digit. They can't. Magical acid melts it. And it creeps up your finger to about here, and
And action. And a quick bandage.
yeah, it's cauterized. You didn't even need to bandage it. You notice that it heals itself as it burns through.
Alright, yeah. That's alright. This be my primary hand. That be why. Never use your dominant hand for poking strange objects.
And then you watch the bird melt off their finger. I'm assuming that you'd scream through this?
No, it wasn't any worse than getting my face riveted.
Fair. We did rivet a beak on.
Oh.
Did you not see the beak? The shining silver beak that's
Yeah,
been
I
riveted
did,
to
but
my
I
face.
wasn't there when that happened, so I'm like, I can still say ow.
It still hurts. Meh.
I walk back. I would need a lesser restoration later.
Greater. I looked at it. Greater. Lesser gets rid of poison, set cripplings and things like that. This is a missing appendage.
I'm a DM. I should know this, and if I'm wrong, then I need to know.
I don't even have to homebrew that. Alright, so as you're watching Kelora slowly take off parts of themselves, Ronan, by now you would have been able to set up and get back to what you were doing, and you're welcome to go collect that crystal. It's still on the ground where Kelora was.
If I touch it, is it gonna burn me?
You're not sure.
Okay.
Can
That was
I
fun.
do an investigation to poke it with something and see if it catches on fire?
What do you want to poke it with?
Just ask Kelora if she could just chop off a little piece of some withered branch.
Well, there should be some, like, if she was chopping up that thing, there wouldn't be a chunk.
Yeah, there'd be pieces of the branch.
I've been making kindling for an hour.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go grab one of the branches that they cut.
Alright, so you go find yourself a branch, come back, poke at it. It does not catch fire. I need you to roll perception though.
Near him.
Him. You wouldn't be close enough to see this.
Oh, I'm not touching it.
Nat 20?
It's underneath the black one. Yep.
Cool.
So not 20.
Okay, so on a critical success, you would notice that there are actually little bits of this crystal embedded in the wood. Like it's growing out of it in the specific space where Kelora was swinging. So you poke it, it does not catch fire, but as you're pulling back the stick, you notice that it has pieces of the crystal in it, but it's not burning your hand. The wood itself.
So you can touch it with inorganic objects and it's fine? Or inorganic? Inorganic things touch it?
An gnarled root would be an inorganic matter.
But it's more inorganic than like living tissue. It's organic to an extent, but it's not like with the active pole.
I'm going to allow you all to continue to speculate.
So if I touch it, it could possibly absorb into me.
Maybe.
Well, I need to go find someone who can cast Greater Restoration.
We can we can on the
We'll
way to the
hit it
temple.
on our way to Tiamat's.
Yes. On the way to the temple, there's probably someone who can heal us.
I guess I try to pick up the crystal and see what happens. If I get
I
fire
tap him on
powers-
his shoulder and start walking.
If If I get fire powers, I get fire powers.
How much do you weigh?
Like a 6-foot dragon can. Shit, I don't even know what a dragon can weigh.
You take 12 points of fire damage and your hand is burned.
Both his hands are burned now? Can he even use them?
Just one hand.
Can you touch it with the same hand? I feel like he wouldn't do that.
I didn't burn my hand before.
He didn't burn his hand, he just blew himself back a little bit.
Oh, I thought he got fire damage. He didn't burn his hand. Never
Yeah.
mind. Never
So
mind.
that was how much? 9 points?
He burned his face and then his hand.
Yeah.
And he's gonna need some love.
But yes, on
But
our
the
way
stick
back
did
to
not
Tiamat's
catch.
temple. That is our primary goal.
It says they weigh
So-
300 pounds on average. They're 6.5 feet tall.
Would I be able to put
With
it
my
in my bag
gold
of
population.
holding and it not doing anything to it?
Damn.
Or am I going to have to deal with
Shit.
that too?
It's a bag of holding. Anything that goes into a bag of holding stays in the exact state that it was in when it entered the bag of holding.
So does it do damage to the bag of holding?
No.
Okay.
Bag of holding is an extra dimensional space attached to a pouch.
Oh.
Alright. Well,
So I put it in the bag.
him plus all his gear is just a little more than my max comfortable carry weight. So I'm gonna snatch him like a baby deer and take the extra time, on wing to get us up the stairs quickly while Ronan tries to set himself on fire.
Are you even going to explain to Ronan what's going on?
No. Ronan lived here before, he should know better.
No, he didn't live here during this.
You hint that he might cause.
When
that.
Ronan lived here, this was a lake.
Okay, well, no. Kelora does not like Ronan. Ronan just got burned by that crystal once. Why is he still trying to fuck with it? It blew up
Ask
in his.
him.
It blew up in his face. No, he
She's-
should be smart. He's supposed to be smarter than me.
She just took off. She's like, we're not dying.
Not dying today.
So you think.
At
Says the
least-
person missing a finger.
Not dying today. I didn't lick
I might
the
yell in his
acid.
name. Meet us up here. I give him some. Bubbles.
Okay, so you hear Ronan as Kelora gets up off the ground, grabs Torin by the shoulders.
I am careful not to have my talons dig into anything.
Like, it was obvious he had no choice in this. You hear, follow us!
And I'll get right on that.
So what are you doing? Are you going to actually get right on that?
Hmm?
Are you actually going to get right on that?
We'll see. It seems like they just wanted to take off without me, so let's.
It didn't look like Torin was trying to take off without you. To be fair, one of them was just kind of abducted by the other.
I like you enough that I don't want to see you blown up. That's what it came down to, is I like you enough that I don't want to see you blown
Do
up.
I have any empty vials or anything? Can't remember if I had any.
Should have like 2 or 3.
Before
At
I
least.
leave, I want to scoop up a vial of the sand that Torin was messing with. The crystallized
Okay, it's
sand
everywhere
stuff.
around your feet.
Yeah, I just want to scoop up like a vial or two.
Alright, so put 2 vials of Castara basin sand. You have a pouch of this stuff.
Yeah, I used to know what to call it.
I didn't until just now, so don't feel bad.
About your colored sand. That's all I.
I'll set you down right at the mouth where Ronan would come up. I'm gonna go find a healer. Shouldn't take me longer than it'll take him to climb out.
So 2 vials of.
Just our basin sand.
Yep.
I'm gonna look for I'm gonna start with the nearest temple for Asclepius or Apollo.
You know that random guy in the tavern that wanted to give you healing points at the end?
You can get
It's
better,
late afternoon.
You can get better benefits by sticking to your pantheon.
Oh, cool.
The you've noticed that there's no acolytes out healing anyone anymore.
I need something better than a healing word.
Well, you know, some of the higher level students would know some things, and every now and then there's an old bishop who's just trying to. Hell, every now and then you see Ishkabibble going out there and doing it, honestly.
I have.
Like everybody has to do it at least like once a day, otherwise they're like kicked out. Like,
At least once a month once you get into the higher ranks.
yeah, but
I have down feathers that are worth 3 gold pieces apiece.
To the right buyer.
What do you think? Is that Asclepius or Apollo?
Alright. Well, it actually would take you longer than Ronan. Go about the time that you find this temple, and it would take you this long. Ronan, you get to the top of the fucking basin, or to the top of the stairs,
Like I said,
and
shit.
find Torin waiting on you.
that bird is crazy. I'm just saying.
Well, obviously, you got a fucking ride, and I had to hitchhike up that bitch.
I didn't ask you.
By the way, carrying something that heavy that far up, plus your armor and that great axe, I am going to make you eat a point of exhaustion for that. Also, because it was a dick move and your gods were watching.
I expected as much.
Don't fuck around in the religious district. I'm not trying to kill off my gods like some DMs.
So which do I find, Asclepius or Apollo?
You find a temple of Apollo.
Apollo. Okay, I'm going to make sacrifice of one of my inner flight feathers instead.
Alright.
And nice, long, well-groomed. This one seems to not have less ash in it than the rest of me.
Okay.
Asclepius is way more forgiving on the quality of offerings.
Yeah. I know.
So I grab one of my cleaner, better feathers and enter, beak down, kind of just touching my amulet of Thanatos. And,
You have greater restoration in front of you, correct?
I do now.
I need to know what the spell components are.
Spell components would be. Come on, please let me turn the page.
Because this is where it gets to be funny.
Spell components would be diamond dust worth at least 100 GP. That would be why I pulled out a flight feather.
Yeah. And go find somebody. What are you looking for? Who are you looking for? Let me know, and then we'll talk perception.
I am. Let's see. Apollo's priests would have been wearing the laurel wreaths. And they would not have been in the lower temple. So I'm going to go further up in the temple and find someone with a correctly positioned laurel wreath.
Okay.
Of the gold variety.
Alright. Okay, so you're looking for just any gold wreath. Got it.
Specific laurel wreath.
Okay, so any laurel, yeah, a gold laurel.
No, not just a gold wreath. I'm not that dumb.
Yeah, you might get Bacchus at that point. Well, no, because it is Apollo's temple. So basically, bronze, brass, gold. Go ahead and roll perception.
That's an even 10.
So, out of 10, after a few minutes, you look around on the second floor of this place and realize that about 75% of the people here have a gold laurel circlet.
Okay.
That you are in a temple of Apollo. And that just going off of the circlet alone, because all of them are the same color of gold, regardless of the material they're made of, you aren't sure. You have seen people who look like they're just now weaned from their mother's tit wearing the same gold circlet next to venerable old men.
I'm gonna go to one of the venerable old men.
Okay.
Might you know where a bird could maybe trade a couple semi-valuable feathers for a fix?
You gonna pluck the bird?
And pull out the high-quality flight feather. I have a couple more I can sacrifice without losing my flight.
My dear, let us discuss.
These make good fletching for an archer god.
Are you local?
Yes,
You know Castara, then?
I.
Then it's time that we sit down and we talk products and gains. Here's the deal. That is a 7th level spell that I would need to cast in order to fix that finger. I believe greater. 5th?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that could help. Even if I gave you a sister church's 5% discount on top of the healing being on top of the caduceus, honoring the caduceus of Apollo, and thus gaining a little bit of favor with my god. So there's a bit of a payoff for me. Let's just be perfectly frank. I could get just as much playing a liar for coin. And also, let's be honest, the going rate is plus a component cost, a minimum of 1,000 gold per spell level. Even if I halved it, that would be 2,600 gold for your finger back. Now, don't get me wrong, a finger is a very fine thing, and even if I take another 5% off of 2,600, thus meaning that 30 taking 130 off of that by giving you another 5% discount on top of it, that would still bring you down to 2,570 gold, which is the bare minimum that I can actually charge without pissing off the Clerics Guild and the guilds of local healers who are non-faith aligned. And have you ever seen a horde of pissed off druids, my dear?
I have.
It's not fun. Not at
No.
all. So we're just going to avoid that, and I'm going to nope your request,
Alright.
because I don't feel like getting strung up by my feet.
Alright.
My recommendation would be that you take this very nice healing balm that will keep your hand from rotting or going gangrene. It'll also restore the lost hit points, or the lost health that you've had from this.
Mm-hmm.
And come back when you have the funds to do that. And don't go around touching strange rocks anymore, dear. Because sometimes it happens in a way that we can't afford to make it grow back.
Alright,
Sad thing is, we used to do it for free, but we got really tired of the expense. I mean,
Alright. How about an oath for 50% of my adventurous winnings for the rest of my life?
you a paladin.
No,
Your word's no good here.
but I have a family that's oathbound.
A family that's earthbound isn't your blood. Your blood's in your veins.
I could change that.
You're right, you could put it on my floor, but then you're not going to pay anything or get anything done.
I wasn't talking all of it. Come on, even Apollo wasn't that extremist.
Yes, but the priest is.
Ay.
Zealots in every faith, dearie. Zealots in every faith. They don't just happen in Christianity, they happen in all of them. Trust me, I'm a Celt.
Meh. You know what? It's a cool scar. It was worth a try.
You're right, it was.
Don't read the bowl.
Huh. Take the balm, slather it on. Like, yep. Yeah.
So I'll be taking that flight for
No, the very next thing I do is
Perfect.
it'll make it fletching. For several arrows, it's long.
He measures it out, and you watch him look at you. Look at the arrow. Motions, and maybe 10-year-old looking individual. You're pretty sure that they're female. You're not 100% sure of anything, including age, on this individual. Comes up, motions, and they're wearing a gold set of laurels. So they come over, they grab the feathers, and you hear in a very meek voice, "Right, yes, sir," and they wander off. Never said a word. Well, if that'll be all, then I have things to attend to and classes to teach.
Well, thank you for the assistance you've been.
Oh, thank you for the distraction from my nightmare. And he hobbles off back, and you watch him open a classroom just in time to see what you would swear looks like a jellied something in the shape of a fairy go flying out the door and splatter itself on the wall and ooze down, arcing electricity and leaving a black corrosive stain.
I'm gonna take wing and feel that empty spot where that inner flight feather was and adjust for it. Take the moment flying back to Torin and be like, well, I dealt with the open wound, we can go now.
So, yes, as you get back, you see that Ronan is standing at the top of the stairs.
Good on you, mate.
That was directed at you, Ronan.
Oh, I know. I learned from my mama, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, then don't say nothing.
I didn't.
I got nothing nice to say. I'm just gonna say nothing.
He's looking kind of winded. He's looking kind of scorched. You do notice that Kelora is still missing a finger, so whatever, and is missing a primary feather. So whatever they went to go do, they were not very successful.
I was successful enough. I took care of the open wound. I feel comfortable going forward.
I'm gonna head towards the. Grab Ronan and I'm like, hey, we get you fixed up. And start walking back towards where I want to go, like where we need to be, and look for a healer on that path to get him home.
You can find multiple random healers. There are still booths that are selling potions if you're inclined to just buy something.
To see one that's not super sketchy, like.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I can heal you real quick, but I need something first.
Well, I also have, I think, one lesser healing potion left and a healer's kit.
The healer's kit will staunch bleeding, stop lacerations, stop from being a burn victim, treat thick wounds, poisons, etc. You can gain like 1d4 plus your medicine bonus if you're trained in it back in hit points. You at least get 1d4, it goes up to 1d6 if you are trained in it. That's what it is. Plus your medicine.
What about a lesser healing potion?
Lesser
He didn't
healing.
lose nothing, he just got burned.
The burn did cause some damage.
Yeah, I've lost, because I got burnt twice. I am down.
Well, I mean, lost some hit points, but like, he didn't lose like a limb or nothing. When I was getting
No,
he didn't
yeah.
like regrow nothing.
No, he didn't melt any parts off. We left that all to Kelora.
Mm-hmm. Kelora seems to manage.
To lose bits of herself all over Nox Vitalia.
Mm-hmm.
watch some like 5-6 campaigns into the future, if we're all still playing together, that Kelora's beak is going to come up as an artifact.
If Kelora plays her cards right, it'll be a wondrous item.
Depends on the artificer who engraves it. And whether she can sit still long enough for it to be engraved while it's attached.
Well, she sat through getting it attached.
Yeah, well, that's different.
But what about the lesser healing potion?
Lesser healing does what? And it should be in the player's handbook. I think it's like, help, my brain don't work.
I'm looking for my player's handbook.
It might be in the DMG, but I doubt it. Potion of healing, rarity berries. Common, 2d4 plus 2. There we go.
2d4 plus 2.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna do a lesser healing potion and do that because I think that's gonna get me more points back.
Right on.
2d4 and then add 2.
Yep.
$11.
11?
Yep, because I got a 6 and a 3 plus 2.
Yep. That works. So, yeah, you get your 11 hit points back. And you are now Kelora of the 9 Fingers.
That's fine.
Look, you just like Frodo. Only you missing this one instead of this one.
Nope, as long as I ain't missing this one.
You too.
That's next. You keep going at that rate. Now when you're poking things, that's the worst of it, is it's actually melted back at a weird angle so it doesn't affect your thumb.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like,
It's like a friend of mine, she lost hers after some weird accident. And I know, until someone pointed out, I never noticed it, that she only had 2 fingers on one hand. But she, like, when they had to go in and take it, they had to go in and cut it. It kind of just did this number right down into the ear.
yeah,
So,
extra long thumb.
Kelora of the 9 Fingers.
With an extra long thumb.
Mm-hmm. Well, figure out how to use it.
So what you doing, Mr. Ronan?
I mean, my feet have 4
I just took
bandages.
the potion.
Alright, so use a healed and all good.
I'm most of the way healed. I mean, I had a total of 17 points of damage and I got 11 back.
So that's not bad. That's well within what we would call a reasonable loss.
Yeah.
Alright, Torn. With the detour to get healed, I am prepared to
go meet my informant.
informant or patron.
Well, I guess they're giving me information and I don't owe them anything yet, so informant. Anyway, they haven't given me anything. Right? I'm not honest.
It's not
I do
lying.
take the time to. There are temples everywhere. I pull out one of my little glass bits and ask for a little bit of holy water in exchange for a down feather. I only need a drop.
They tell you to keep it and they just give you the holy water.
You never know. Walk into a random temple, ask for holy water, be prepared to offer something.
There's not a vampire botanicon.
Pocket it.
Okay.
Until we're at the doors of the temple of Tiamat.
Okay, so you have a small vial of holy water.
For a minute. Literally.
Okay.
Gotta make sure my P's and Q's are minded.
Do you want a clove of garlic? You a rope of garlic? Like, what else?
No.
Silver bullet. Here's some salt. Like.
Maybe some of that.
Oh.
That's good for fire.
No. Like, yeah. Just trying to make her as comfortable as I can so she comes.
I'm agreeing. I'm coming with. And once we get down there, I pull out my scroll and take the time to actually, like, get it right. Almost like ritually casting it.
Alright. So, it takes you guys maybe like a half hour to get down to where the Temple of Tiamat is.
And when I cast it, the person I touch is me.
When you're casting what?
When I cast protection from evil and good. I'm using my scroll of protection from evil and good. Protection from evil and good. Just in case we get attacked. Because I feel like that's gonna happen. Protection from evil and good. Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against certain types of creatures, aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. The protection grants several benefits. Creatures of the target. Creatures of those types have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target. The target also can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. If the target is already charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature, the target has advantage on any new saving throw against the relevant effect.
Keep that on hand where you can use it just in case. I don't think you'll need it though.
I don't think I will either, but safe rather than sorry.
Alright, so you watch them cast this thing and they starting to glow funny.
I'm just like, are we ready to meet the person we're
And
talking
you
to?
were before these great dragon-shaped doors.
I'm gonna go and look for my.
Rona, did you follow them or did you like...
Yeah, I followed.
I make sure any symbolism of Pelor is nowhere to be found on my body.
Oh no, you're good. You're wearing a symbol of Thanatos.
So
They're
before we
neighbors.
walk in, I change into I'm 7 foot tall, just this big muscly giant looking dude, just to kind of intimidate people.
So you're gonna go all Goliath size. Got it.
Not gonna act aggressive, but I'm gonna look intimidating so they think if they want to.
Big, angry looking Goliath. Got it. Just gonna...
Brooding. He's brooding.
Ironically, that'll make enough people go away that it's not... You'd be amazed.
Yeah, come to real quick. I'm gonna head in and look for the person I spoke to the day before.
After a little bit of looking around, someone walks up to you. Can I help you, sir?
I spoke to. Did I get a name here?
No.
I'll describe the person I spoke to and said they told me to come back today and talk to them and just let them know I'm here.
Oh, that...
Black Dragonborn and Goldmarkins.
Thank you. Oh, yes, be right back. I'll go get them for you. Shouldn't be too long of a wait. Alright. And now, as you sit around, you, from the back, hear a blood-curdling scream and then a trickling sound.
Really loud pipes in here. Someone just use the bathroom.
Followed by what sounds like a whole bunch of laundry hitting a stone floor with a mild squish attached. And then another scream, followed by a trickling sound. After about the 5th or 6th scream like this, they come back with the Dragonborn that you're looking for. And they look back and across the three of you. Oh, weren't there 4 of you?
There were. There aren't any more.
Why?
His
Which one
patron-
have you done it?
His patron called. He answered.
Oh, yes, the mistress, she is a patron. She has a few warlocks. A few thousand.
Seriously.
warlocks. A few
I haven't.
10,000? Or is
I
it
haven't
100?
any intention on getting between a warlock and their patron.
Good call.
I apologize.
You're
Sincerely.
quite crazy.
I'm gonna sincerely apologize, but I had no control over that.
This would be the entire party for all intents and purposes.
I see. Well then. I believe we had an agreement.
Yep. We're here, I do that.
Good news is that I have spoken to the bishop, as it were, and your request for this piece of information is very much beneficial to our church if we allowed it to come to you.
Okay.
The look on Kelora's face is one of tentative respect but clear distrust.
He looks over at you.
Been burned a couple times.
He looks at you. Oh, no. Nothing bad.
For us or for you?
Both.
Alright.
You see, we benefit from helping you in this particular situation, and I've been granted a modicum of permission to grant you each a boon of your choosing. Yours has already been discussed. Under contract, in exchange for your mercenary services.
I'd expect a limit on it, the number of targets we could be asked for.
Just anything attached to one.
Is there one specific instance?
One
Or-
specific target.
All it takes to get to
You're already hunting it, so half the problem's out of the way.
Alright, where do I sign? Because I was prepared to chase that thing myself alone.
Well, that depends. See, we have several offers for the two of you. There are a few more for your cat friend, but I'm sure we can negotiate something should he join you in the long run. After all, we can't have unpaid labor. The city council would string me up. Unless they're registered slaves, and then we still have to feed them and house them, and they must be fed well.
Good. Fix the whatever you
It's a
intend on
pain in the
paying.
ass. What do you mean good?
Oh, makes me more willing to work with you.
Just know I'd let them starve so I could pick their bones if I had the chance. Filthy humans, but at least they mop my toilets.
You see Kelora's face turn a little green at the mention of humans.
Oh, they taste lovely, though. I believe that when they call it long pork. With barbecue sauce. He actually says that.
Kelora.
I'm technically not human, right?
You're not a human, you're Fae.
You're Fae. And those are human. They're humanoid, but not human.
Like, legitimately humans.
No matter where you are, humans are a bit of a parasitic species.
It's just in some cultures they're edible.
Namely this one.
It's dragonborn. He, she, you're not sure.
Not trying to be sure.
Not really caring.
Thinking. Alright, what's on the table for boons?
Well, let's see here. That depends. What do you want? He made a demand. He got a deal.
made a
Power.
request.
What kind?
Actually take the moment to flex forward. The kind that would enable me to fly fearlessly in this thing's face.
Oh.
I only need a one-time use. I don't care if I come out of it alive.
Oh. You clearly,
As long as I get to take it with me.
you clearly misunderstand. The boon will be granted in due payment. Your security deposit from us, as it were, will be a limited version.
Its permanence would be. So basically, you're saying your permanence upon completion.
Depending on the boon. Possibly.
Yeah.
So you got once
You
a
don't
day.
have to worry about Kelora bailing out on that. Kelora is life or death in it to kill this dragon.
Oh, either you win or you die.
No, that's the whole point. I was willing to step through a portal into this thing's face alone. This has been a I win or I die thing since the get-go, long before you were even a concept for us.
Oh, that's why the mistress is willing to work with you. Your kind are not normally to her taste.
Kind of lean and stringy.
Something like that.
Let's see.
Let's just say rigid and inflexible.
Overcooked wing.
How about a blessing upon my great axe that gives it some of the benefits of your breath weapon?
No. That's not. You want power, you'll get power. What of you?
I want to be able to endue any of my weapons with my magic at will.
Ew. Bit much off the bat.
If you did anything, I mean, aim for the highest thing and negotiate down.
Yeah, shoot for the moon, land among the stars, I guess.
Well, if you
I'd
survive,
say that out loud.
I don't know how that one will come out in the deposit, as it were, but it should be interesting. Done. We already know what you want. What color was your dragon heritage?
Brass, bronze.
Bronze?
Bronze.
Okay.
And bronze with like teal. And like
Yeah, because of the way that it ages. Got it.
yeah, patina. We went with patina colored stripes.
Patina.
Patina. Green, sometimes a dark turquoise, sometimes a
Yeah.
weird color green. Really can't put your finger on it. It's just
It's quite a nice pattern. We'll put it that way. It really is, actually. But,
I just want
How it-
something, one time use. Mm, give me less anxiety flying into that thing's face.
alright. So, here's how it's going to go. Here's your contract, sir. And this is exactly how the he walks up to you first because, Torin, you were the first one here. They've had time to prepare your paperwork. We'll be out with yours momentarily. But it reads as follows. And then there's a blank left for your name. The undersigned do hereby agree to move forward in hunting my current quarry in exchange for the information that is given here with a boon offered upon completion, as this particular dragon would aid Tiamat in its extinction as well as it would you. That being the case, until time of completion of same said quest, at which point your wings will be permanent, twice per day, you may cut your hand and drip your blood onto the included talisman of Tiamat and sprout a set of dragon's wings.
I'm happy for you. I'm paranoid, but I'm happy for you.
2 times per day you are allowed to do this. Taking taking the weapon's damage to your hand when you do it. So do keep in mind that if you use a dagger, you use a dagger. If you use a needle or a 1 damage weapon, you use a needle or a 1 damage weapon. If you use a great axe, you use a great axe.
Damage
Of the weapon.
Of the weapon.
I need to make a small sacrifice. I'm going to use my great axe.
You're like, eh.
Chetney. I'm gonna take my scythe and
Okay.
it's been done.
Uh-huh. Though honestly, in that particular instance, I do feel like...
The wings will last for 1 hour. Mechanically speaking, they will give you a fly speed of 80.
Nice.
Would have been 40, but Dragonborn so doubled it because it's calling to the draconic blood.
Yep, it's a draconic heritage boon.
Something like that. And that's so. That being said, are you satisfied with this contract?
Yes, I signed.
Oh, that's not how we sign things. You sign it the same way you activate, just to make sure everything's working.
Well, I mean, I signed. Wait, I signed. Yeah. So like.
He goes, drops into your bleeding hand the talisman. You sprout wings. In the right coloration for you.
Ooh.
That is one of the 2 uses for the day.
Enjoy them.
Can I talisman and is it like a necklace I can wear?
Yes, it's a religious holy symbol
Alright,
of
so,
Tiamat.
yeah. So I'm gonna put it on.
Now, eeny, meeny, miny, hey mo, which one of you is next to go?
With that heavy eye roll.
Oh, lovely. I like a volunteer. So, you wanted power. Just power.
I don't plan on stopping until I have either taken this thing or it has taken me. Power of that variety would be quite helpful.
Right. Power you want. Power you shall get. This'll be a little bit harsher after all of that pent-up anger. That makes it so things burn hotter and harder.
Oh, I was hoping you'd go this direction.
So, here's the deal.
Oh, this is gonna be a full circle moment.
2 times per day, the same as your friend. As it does go into the all I, the undersigned, blah 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 blah, yakety schmackety, am hereby bequeathed to deal this thing in order to continue this service, and upon my completion, this will become a permanent effect.
Mhm.
Mainly because this should tell you how long I'm planning on this taking.
It's
You
2 times per day on a rage.
2 times per day, period.
Okay.
Prior to your rage.
Alright.
Prior to any bonuses your rage gives you. Your strength goes to Storm Giant.
25. When a 30-minute duration completes, you take 2 points of exhaustion
Okay.
from overburning your muscles.
So basically, like overcharging the rage, and then
It's overcharging the muscle matter when she activates this in the same exact manner. Yes, that's right. You're making a blood sacrifice to Tiamat every time you do use this.
That's fine. I tie the bloody fucking pendant to my axe. I'm making basically a blood pact here and now on the axe, saying, I'm gonna put this thing in that dragon's face.
Mm-hmm.
I'll work with a god I don't trust.
you're not completely.
Oh, but that's just it. She's honest. Tiamat never lied.
I never expected her to lie.
That, like, in all of the Dragonlance series and all of that, that's where Tiamat comes from. She did all kinds of heinous things: genocide, murder, chaos, spread discord, famines,
Read the Dragonlance
plagues.
series.
Interestingly enough, she never lied.
So she's like Lucifer of the series.
Any other effects with the strength bonus?
Is there any effects?
Yeah.
After the 30 minutes is over, you take 2 solid points of exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned burning hot.
Yeah, you just need strength.
No fire. Got it.
No fire. You're already good, but you do still have to take the weapon damage.
Whatever you use to poke yourself with.
And now, with them out of the way, what do you want?
I already told you.
No, you told me, not him.
Mm-hmm.
I want the ability to empower
You.
or endue any of my weapons with my magic.
Which magic?
Any of my magic at will.
Any at will. Any at will. Greedy little fat fucking shill.
Any of my magic whenever I want. I could just
Imbue it
use
into what?
any of my weapons. My axe, my bolts for my crossbow, my daggers.
Well, I won't let you do that at will just yet.
Like, it wouldn't be all the time, but let's say, okay, I want to put this spell and cast it with this weapon.
Yes.
I'm waiting. I have a question, but you guys can finish this.
So you. Alright. Well, what you're asking is interesting. You'll still have to bleed. The good news is 5 times per day. Because of duration, you can make an offering and succeed. Only with damaging things, though. For now, I mean, you're just starting out. How well do you really know magic?
Well, you're part magic, aren't you?
Yep.
He's an arcane trickster. Comparatively to a wizard, the magic is there, but not strong in this.
Nah. He's Padawan.
Does that mean that should I put my axe in that big dragon's face and win, that my strength would immediately become very permanently 25?
In order to make this permanent, before you go, to be clear, you'll need to bring back a vial of her blood. Yes, her.
Mm-hmm.
Per contract. And pour it over your original signatures. This will signify completion. And it needs to be dead blood.
Kill
How
it,
dead?
then harvest.
Yes.
Harvested after death. That's all that matters. Okay.
Mhm. If it's not harvested after death, you could get it from her in a deal, and then we're screwed, and you're harder to get rid of and collect from.
Cool kids.
So, that being the case, does anybody need anything else?
No, not from here.
Are you sure?
Quite.
We could heal those wounds you just used to seal the contracts.
That'd be like a courtesy, though. I mean, out of character. Wouldn't it be
No,
like a
this is
courtesy?
Tiamat. There is nothing that comes from her that is of courtesy.
Only of necessity. She's lawful evil.
She's honest,
Hey, like,
but
when
nothing
you sign a
comes from her.
contract, I usually like, thank you.
For a nice person? If you're a nice person and a business person, sure, we'll go with that, but she's not nice. So, did you need anything else?
I talon pricked myself to bleed.
That works, right?
I'm
Yeah.
fine.
And I just poked myself with the end of my dagger. I didn't cut. I just poked a little.
See, you went all balls to the wall about it and proud about your shit. You're like, yeah. The second that your blood hits the contract, it's signed. It doesn't matter whether you're nice enough to take a quill through it or not. Turns out that that's a better signature than anything else. If we could DNA trace something, you're just thumbprint with blood.
Old school.
Your
No,
blood.
I can't think of anything else.
All right then.
The information.
You will see yourselves out then. We have services coming very shortly, and it's best if our members are given the discretion they deserve.
Weren't we supposed to
On
do
that,
something?
you
Did
and
she-
I are
did-
soundly agreed.
Does she give us verbal or written information?
Honey, you don't need it. The suffering for breaking the contract from the writer's end is way worse.
No, the information that we were looking for that they said they would give us for this.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that information. I was gonna say the information on our pact. Yeah, no, they'll remember
yes. There is actually if you head south by southwest out of the town, away from the Spire of Light, you'll find a door carved of lightning glass in the side of a dune. Don't be fooled. We know that was that weird little blue dragon's cult. We tried to help them, but that was well before the cataclysm, my dears. Now, down, if you follow all the way back to the primary chambers, you will find a spiral stairway down. This goes to their archives. In those archives are kept the names and records of all of Tiamat's offspring, including the ones she thought she killed. Apparently, at least one was a bit resilient. There you will find your answers in one book, or another, or another. There are countless. Like, seriously, I lost count. That library has survived the cataclysm. Those two little blue twins did wonders for that place in carving it out. Too bad the people that killed them never actually found the trove of knowledge.
Who did kill them?
Oh. It was this group of adventurers early in their time. One of them said she was some kind of queen.
Why are you looking at me?
Why are you looking at him?
I want to see if your story matches up with ones I've heard from around here.
Well, they went in, they wiped out a cult to a set of twin blue dragons born from one egg. They were such lovely children. And some little tabaxi sorceress, a relatively uppity royal elf, her barbaric friend, lady in waiting, I guess they call her. I know why she was waiting. You snap a man in half in one. There was this changeling with them too. Oh, no matter, all of them are quite wanted individuals if they ever happen to resurface, saying that they survived the cataclysm.
What kind of bounty would happen for them?
Well, that depends on where you are and how bad the things were damaged by the cataclysm they couldn't stop, and how vengeful a populace is looking for a scapegoat. How wouldn't it?
It would.
Here in Castara, the cataclysm drained the lake. In other places, they might actually reward them. I hear the Gnomish lands got far better after their rulership died. So, that being said, I don't know how much the city would pay for a bounty, but we wouldn't pay a damn thing. We've prospered since the cataclysm. Turns out all kinds of evil things love the hot sands. And any place with only one rule. You do know the law here, don't you?
I'm from here.
Oh, you're alive. Then you know.
Not for lack of shit trying. Make eye contact.
How far would how the travel?
They glare at you for making eye contact.
Not for lack of shit trying.
Well, you each have your boon.
What's the travel time to where they said?
About a day and a half.
It's about evening time.
Yep, it's about evening.
I'm going back to the Temple of Ishtar to sleep.
What time are we at in the really real world?
20 days.
7:40.
7:45.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Figured we were getting close to it. All
There
right.
we go.
So what?
Ooh. I need to find somewhere to get flying lessons because I don't instinctually
I'll
like.
teach you.
Yes, you would actually inherently and instinctively know how to fly with these wings. It's a part of the way that the boon is granted.
Okay.
So they are 100% usable as they are.
Okay.
5 times per day, you can imbue a spell into your a spell's energy into your weapon outside of your spell slots. That is where the actual boon comes from this. You gotta bleed for it. You take half damage because you need less blood.
Okay.
Would
And
you
because
like
you're
to go
doing it
flying?
5 times a day versus
Well,
2.
I just got wings and I want to know if I needed to use them.
Would you like to go flying?
Well, we can fly back to the temple, can't we?
But
I have wings.
because otherwise, like Ronan, of all the people who they ask for these massive things with vagaries attached.
It was an impulsive idea. I was just trying to see if it would do something, and I didn't like.
Yeah, now you've got a fucking contract with a god over it.
God is different than a patron, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna,
No, you don't
get
have
the
a
impulse
patron's
to do
pact.
something weird.
You didn't just take a level in Warlock. You're fine.
But if you like to, we can offer you all kinds of other things if you become one of the mistresses.
Kelora's already on a death wish hunt for this fucking dragon. So yeah, I'm in. This was a win or die situation for me, anyways.
But now, because you take half damage because you have 5 of whatever you roll for the weapon damage, because you can do it 5 times per day, I'm trying to average out the maximum amount of damage that can be taken from any one player. So the 2 of them can take, they can only use theirs twice per day. Also, imbuing any one of your magics into there at this level, not so great. By the time you all actually kill this damn thing, well, then it'll make sense for you to be able to do that at will.
That's what I was thinking.
But I can't just like, poof, what do you need? But being able to do it 5 times a day after you bleed a little bit. So the reason that you have to hurt yourself is because you're less inclined to do the thing if you have to hurt yourself, unless it's real fucking important.
Yeah, but for me, I also, even just a little poke of the finger works for me at the same time.
You actually have to use the weapon you're imbuing. If you're taking an arrow, you take 1d4 for using it like a dagger.
Okay.
It's more than it's less than
You are
killing yourself,
actually-
but more than a needle prick.
Yeah, you are legit making a blood sacrifice to Tiamat every time you activate this.
So you have to lose a little bit
And
of blood.
I'm going to consult some other DMs online about what I should do as players continue making blood sacrifices to an evil god.
Oh, come on, guy.
No, Kelora literally only intends to use this one time.
At the moment. Because I'm an asshole!
You're really gonna have to test her resolve to get her to work with Tiamat. She intends to use this one time.
Well, just keep in mind that this Temple of Tiamat has been operating in Castara, where the only law is don't piss anybody off, for decades. Anyway.
I think I'm a chaotic neutral, so I don't have any problem with this. Like, it's
No.
just another job for me.
No,
Not only
she
is it
doesn't
just
want to have-
another job, but you can see where this has got as much benefit for you as them, and it's balanced. Ergo, as long as it works, you're fine.
Yeah.
Your
I'm
morals
chaotic
aren't
good.
being compromised here.
I'm chaotic good.
It
choices
bothers
I
her a
made
little bit
today.
more than it does us.
Yeah, no, it gave my feathers a hardcore ruffle, but in the end, the
Good.
choices I'm making now benefit the greater good.
Alright, so with all of that said and all of it done, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful night. We love you guys, and as always, live long and prosper. And because Pudgy's not here, bye!
Pizza, chicken grease.
Bye!